Hey, it's been a while since I've done a stream, and I know that a lot of people have asked me to do one, so here goes. I'm going to just be on TypeRacer since I know this works and a lot of other sites don't. FF split is no, it recognizes it now. Okay, so I am streaming properly. I'm still not very experienced at this, so I'm going to have to keep checking for a while. Here we go. And see if I got any comments already. I did have not. That was one of my worst races in a very long time. But it has been a while since I've done this, and I haven't been feeling all that well, so it's not a big surprise. I'm usually not happy unless I get 180, and I'm not really feeling it. Oh, even my really slow race of 149 was able to top the board for this hour, so there aren't a lot of TypeRacer stars on at the moment. Although, anybody who can hit 100 words per minute is still doing really good. I'm very embarrassed at the moment. Very. Have I lost it? Well, 3 races isn't a lot, but... yeah, I can't imagine a lot of people are going to seriously want to watch me suck like this. Finally, a satisfactory one. Is anybody watching yet? I thought this would be a really good time for the gaming community in general. And that's also good advice for typing. .169 last 10 average. I always shoot for 180. I have horrible posture. I had horrible posture while typing that. It doesn't really matter in that regard. It may matter for your physical health. Who's somebody who doubts my legitimacy? I'm getting my consistency back, but not my burst speed. Here's to you, semi-incompetent nemesis. I think I'm going to check the comments every time I hit a multiple of 5 races. Aren't those 5-digit words per minute at the start of certain races utterly ridiculous? I think so. I was in the zone there until that horrible ending. I'll have to look up what finger I use to hit the P key. I did go through all this and figure it out, but I don't have my layout memorized. I just do it. I don't think about it, but I'll look up that YouTube video where I mentioned all that. Yes, I know. Proof that Akashman cheats on TypeRacer. I was wanting to expose people for a while if I didn't think they were getting banned quickly enough. Okay, I'm gonna blow this up. Here is my keyboard layout. On the old YouTube, I hit enter after each one, but it removed the enters when they decided to adjust the comments. But according to this, I use my right middle and or right ring finger to press the P key. And that's apparently it, depending on the context of the other characters in the word. And now I'm going to go back to TypeRacer, minimize this again, return to 100% zoom, and go again. Yeah, Jacob Roberts, I feel rusty too. I like a beautiful mind, but this is so sexist. Everyone talks about how shorter words are easier to type than longer ones. That's not necessarily the case at all. If you are typing at or near your limit, I've noticed that you can make an error on pretty much just about everything about equally. Maybe not if you don't know how to spell some of the words you're typing or whatever, but it's totally unpredictable when going to make an error. I have little control over it. I can make an error on simple words and I can make an error on complex words. Now what's kind of odd about this is how slow I'm going in general and still making all these errors. That is unusual. But yeah, I haven't been feeling well the past couple weeks, so that could be it. Well, that was an unexpectedly nice recovery. Yes, it's Celestial Typist, aka Semi-Incompetent Nemesis. It can be exhausting answering the same questions again and again and again, and I try to put all this stuff on shemroto.com/typing.php, but I'm willing to keep answering the questions again and again. So when people start asking lots of questions about my personal life, that I get more annoyed. Deshaun, I appreciate your support. I'm not on Nitro Type because the graphics on that site are too intense, and it's caused my FF split connection to disconnect several times when I tried to go on Nitro Type, and it was a very unprofessionally done stream, and I don't know what the proper settings I need on FF split for my internet connection, which probably isn't as fast as the serious big-time streamers have. So I can't do anything too graphically intense. I mean, even that Facebook Typing Maniac game, that Facebook Typing Maniac game crashed my streaming connection. So if you can convince somebody at Nitro Type to do a more lo-fi, text-based version of that site, then I will stream that for sure. I don't really see a consistent pattern on things that affect my typing. I have good days and bad days, but I don't really see any trends. I think it's pretty random. I mean, I think I may be doing worse tonight because I haven't been feeling as well, but things like baths, diet, listening to music in the background, I don't know. I tend to not change any of these patterns much anyway, but I haven't noticed that I do better certain times than other times for any obvious reason. Deshaun, you didn't understand. Nitro Type causes my connection to crash. That's the too long didn't read version. And yes, I hate, I tend to hate internet memes like that TL::DR. It's just boring and obnoxious, and I don't know, but I'm the one who tends to write on and on and on and get those sort of comments from people, so I get it. Alexa inaccurate? I'm inaccurate too. Whoa! What is that? That's not something I've ever done much. Me screwing up caps lock? That's ridiculous. One of my streaming buddies has finally shown up to compete in this race. I feel merely semi-competent today myself. Haven't I done 20 races already and I haven't beaten 191? That is bad. Well, I improved it. Glad to hear it, Alexa. I want my screen to take off eventually. This is gonna be good. Yes. I don't know how long the delay is because I'm not watching the stream, because I know that when I attempt to watch the stream it's going to crash the stream or interfere or give me feedback or something. A lot of it is probably my connection. My connection is probably not that powerful for it to be something closer to real time. Also, I've already said that I'm only going to respond to the comments every 5 races, so I'm not flipping back and forth that much, so you can see me mainly racing. Deshaun, I did get 274 words per minute on TypeRacer once, but I failed the CAPTCHA test. Lots of people complain about failing the CAPTCHA tests when they actually achieve some score. Well, I did too, because I would have had to hit 220 words per minute and 92% accuracy on the CAPTCHA text, which is obviously much harder than the bloke text was. I got 274 on the bloke text. And you need to get 92% accuracy on the CAPTCHA text, and I think one time I actually managed 270 or something and only got 91% accuracy, so it ended up not counting my 274, but I have beaten the 256. And I've also beaten that score on Typing Zone, which uses a different system, 6 characters per... A word per minute is 6 characters per minute rather than 5, because 6 characters per minute is apparently the European standard and 5 characters per minute is apparently the American standard. I don't know why the difference exists. Maybe because European languages have longer words. Okay, Celestial Typist, I don't know what you mean by dashboard. My FF split dashboard or my stream dashboard? Because I don't want to open my stream from this computer and adjust that, because I know that if I do that, then my stream is going to crash. So maybe this is something I'll do for a future stream, but not just yet. I'll copy and paste your advice into a notepad file and deal with this later. But I don't want to mess around with the stream while I'm streaming. Okay, going again. I love longer text because even when I suck, it comes closer to my average. I know that's meant to be stupid, but that's the stupidest text on the entire freaking site, and I can't believe that was actually submitted and accepted. That is one of my favorite short ones to type. Look at my scores on this. Very rarely do I not break 190 on that. Whoops, wrong one. Just Sean, I don't. You'd need to set up a TypeRacer account if you don't have one. I don't know what your speed is because these races are just based on how close you are in speed to the other users. So I would only be matched with the fastest users. If you're not one of the faster users on the site, if you're not regularly breaking over 100 words per minute, you might not appear in my races. But you can tell me what your username is or invite me to your TypeRacer track or something if you're not being matched in races with me. But that's all I can tell you. I don't know how fast you are, so, but I'm certainly willing to race you. I mean, and I find this really boring since I've typed most of these things well over 10 times. So please ask me questions, certainly. Oh, 40 to 44 words per minute. Okay, I will set up a track. Maybe that would be better if I set up a track and then the people who are watching my stream could join it. That way I wouldn't be just paired with the quickest users. Hey, Lucian. If I don't know if I pronounced that correctly or not. Yeah. last couple weeks I've been more into Scrabble, I guess. Okay, I can join your track, and then other people will probably join your track as well. I wanted to make sure I did the stream today instead of tomorrow because I really want to watch the 24 Hours of Daytona tomorrow, or parts of it. I do not intend to watch all the way straight through, but I'm into racing more than I'm into typing, actually. Okay, Jashawn's already here, and the race is about to begin. Okay. Come on down, other stream followers, and maybe it is only you two watching, but if you have a TypeRacer account and you're watching, I welcome you to join my quote-unquote Nemesis's track. Your best chance of beating me is on a short quote when you do well and I screw up. You shouldn't be ashamed of your speed. It doesn't really matter. It's not like you can make money at this. It's far more important to be like a killer programmer or something. Oh, Ryan Moore, he's really good. He'll be tough to beat. Kind of strange, since Ryan has an all-time average of 146. I guess Ryan must race select a lot. I mean, I did that on the original Arena Snow account, so it's not like I can call Ryan out for race selecting, but I thought he'd be closer. I like Ryan's avatar a lot. Oh! I had no idea you were Ryan. I should have figured that out when Ryan entered after semi-competent Nemesis left. I should have figured that out. Yeah, you were the guy who wanted to invite me to compete against Michael Shestov, but it hasn't happened yet. If you could get Michael Shestov in here, that would be an awesome freaking stream. Yes, Lucian, I have beaten Chanman many, many times. Chanman has beaten me many, many times. The two of us used to race with Chris Malmquist all the time, but it seems like he lost interest. When it's the same 600 tests over and over and over again, I don't blame anybody for losing interest eventually. Ryan, if you want to quit at the end of the race, it's not going to bother me. Everybody else does it, and until Alex comes up with a better way to evaluate players discounting race selection, I can't really knock you for it all that much. Deshaun, even hitting 60 words per minute ever is probably better than half the people in the world. Well, more than half, I would guess. I think the average typing speed is around 40, which means that most people would be getting less than 40. Race selecting has totally made the top 20 list on TypeRacer flatly ridiculous. I'll admit that. Either everyone should be doing it or no one should be doing it, but when only a certain group of players are doing it, and a lot of people are cheating and race selecting, which is even worse. I'm using a DOS keyboard silent, and I believe they were black switches. Don't be nervous. If I change my name to Lucian or something, would you, feel less nervous? Like you were just competing against yourself or something? Alright, I'll start another one, see who shows up. It is the silent, although it's hard to tell because it's not really silent. You can hear the keys on the microphone, clearly. Yeah, I've never understood about the cherry switches. Everybody asks me that. I don't know much about keyboard mechanics. I probably know more about keyboard mechanics than most people do, simply because most people who ask me these questions go on and on about them, but This isn't something like 99% of the world thinks about, and I'm not in that 1%, sadly. I don't have a preferred style of switch. I can type well on anything, and it's far more about the typist than the keyboard. I'm a lot slower on laptop keyboards, maybe 20 words per minute, or even more. I'm a lot slower on laptop keyboards, but when comparing desktop keyboards, I don't really see a massive difference. I mean, I'm sure the desk keyboard is a little better than some $20 thing you would buy at Walmart, but I haven't seen a huge difference between keyboards. I do like that this is a soft keyboard. I don't like stiff keyboards very much, like the IBM keyboards of the DOS era, but I can still use them, and I'm still pretty fast on them. Anybody want to join me? Or should I go back into the regular universe? No, I said I type 20 words per minute slower on a laptop, not 20 words per minute on a laptop. Alright, since nobody's showing up in this race, I will look at Pinlock's link. Common switch types. Alright, I'm just going to Google it. I know I've looked this up before in another stream, and I keep forgetting. Cherry XM. Whoops. And that wasn't a typo, I just remembered it wrong. One of them says they're brown switches, and one of them says they're red. Okay, you did not beat me, but I want to see how quickly I can get up to... To see what I can get up to, having not typed for 45 seconds, and I'm going to bail before the last character. I will obviously bail on a situation like this where I wasn't there. Okay, started 45 seconds late and got up to 40-something. Oh, Pinlock, I don't know if you were in the chat, but, okay, I'll copy the link. I always race with robots on Nitro Type because there are very few people who approach my speed who are online at any given time, and when that happens, it only matches you up with robots who are set to your speed, which is very annoying because that means you frequently lose. And I wouldn't say that my internet is very fast at all. Yeah, Ryan, Jashan just entered the race like the second I was leaving, which means that it's still going to go on for a while here. I will say Lucian seems to be doing pretty well. I'm mythical now? That's hilarious. Creative names, guys. I know Nitro Type is a really popular site. I know it is challenging TypeRacer in popularity at the moment, but I'm telling you, I've already tried to do a stream with Nitro Type and it kept crashing. I don't want my stream to crash, and that's more important. It's more important for the stream not to crash than for me to use a specific site, no matter how popular. Jashawn, if you can tell me what settings I need to use for my stream, like the frame rate and so on, so that Nitro Type won't crash, then I'll think about it. Ryan's had his coffee. Since I still have like a minute until this race ends, I'm going to get some water. I don't know why I chose to do this race on my actual account, but I wanted to see how I'd do if I gave everybody a head start. So I guess somebody bailed out of that race late, because there was like 40 seconds left when I went to get the water. I see one thing saying they're red switches and one thing saying they're brown switches. I don't know. Alright, sorry. I'm not entering this race. I've already done enough damage to my average. Wow, lots of people here. Ryan, as I remember, you know Michael Shestov. Could you get him to join us sometime? Then I might do a stream at a weird time to accommodate him, because that would be epic. I do not intentionally delete my past stream videos. In fact, I have them to be archived automatically, so I'm not sure why they've disappeared if they have. I can check that out after the stream is done, but I don't want to crash this stream. I wouldn't say I'm extremely busy, but there are tons of more important things I'm neglecting, and I do think there are a lot of things that are bigger priorities than keeping my stream up, because it hasn't turned out to be that much of a big thing if only 20 people are watching. Oh, duh. Okay, I totally misinterpreted that. Jashawn wrote, why do you delete your stream videos after live stream? Ryan wrote, he's always extremely busy. I thought that was talking about me being extremely busy. No, you're talking about Michael Shestov being busy. Duh. Wow, that was illiterate of me. I'm not going to handicap myself and intentionally type more slowly than I do. I want the races that I record to be representative, as opposed to YouTube, where I'm obviously going to mainly put highlights. I know that was probably a joke. Sometimes my sense of humor fails me. Invite one of your Nitro Type friends you regularly beat, Jashawn. Oh, duh, change the window. That's the best way to have my chat up and this window up simultaneously. Oh, you can see the number of viewers on FF Split. That's cool. 19 people watching. Okay. Now I can have the chat running on my stream along with what I'm actually typing. Welcome to the recursive chat room. How are you logged in twice simultaneously, Ryan? Different browsers? I haven't seen that movie, so I have no idea. I even have 4 accounts, Brian. I just don't log into them simultaneously. Wow, you made it to the track instantly, like in a split second. I'm impressed. I'll be really impressed when you compete against yourself, Ryan. Just seeing if there was anybody good on that I could invite, like if Philly's Magic shows up or something, that would be cool. Ferraris are faster. But MotoGP bikes do quite well for themselves too. Oh, you're gonna do it. You're gonna race yourself semi-simultaneously. That's cute. Well, how nerdy of you to notice, Ryan, that your two combined scores were equal to mine. Even I didn't notice that. Somebody just sent me a private message. Sean, how are you correcting typos? I correct typos by hitting Shift Home and then backspace. Doesn't look like you're going to get the 70 you need to match me this time, Ryan. Oh, and you already realized that to left. Sure, Control A, Control Backspace, any of these things work. Shift Home is just what I prefer and I'm used to. I don't know why it's what I'm used to, but it's what I'm used to. No, Jashawn, you beat and lost to Ryan. Both. Yep, just like Ryan was kidding when he said he beat me in that race when I didn't show up because I was looking at that other tab to try and figure out what switches I was using. That was really close, Ice Cream. Oh, you've hit 200 before. Don't tell me you're somebody like Julian Warhurst or something. Julian, who replaced me as Typing Zone Champion, although I think Julian's faster than Ice Cream is. I'm not unbeatable. I've been beaten tons of times. Like in a sequence of 10 races or something, not many people would beat me. And you're great for an 11-year-old. That's amazing. Yeah, he just told me he was 11, and I didn't really know who Payman was, and that is incredible. When I was 10, I first hit 100 words per minute. It was 104. It was on some test in that DOS application I mentioned several times, CPT Personal Touch Typing, and I don't know if I ever hit 150 words per minute when I was 11. You are going to be freaking good, and you're probably going to eclipse me pretty soon because I think I'm slipping. Am I already friends with Payman? I don't even remember. I didn't even notice. You're great. Oh, just Sean, yes, there are tons of people who hack and or cheat on this site. A few of my close friends who are also TypeRacer stars, were trying to figure out how people did this, and yeah, I know that there are a lot of applications that you can copy text into and have it paste out in a very streaming, very flowing way, so you steadily increase in speed the whole way through. Belmock, I'm only into typing games in Scrabble, that's really it. Sometimes I was into some really old video games like Jumpman and Wizard of War, but I never got into MMO RPGs. Wow, and I was talking during that one. Oh. Yeah, I was talking during that one, and that explains why I didn't beat 200 on it like I did 7 of the previous 8 times I did that text. Nice one, Carter. Boy, did I miss the start of this race. But I don't think my score is going to be too bad. That's okay. Okay, just Sean, maybe I will do some Nitro Type later, maybe. But I'm going to do it at the end of my session because I have a feeling that it's going to crash my session, and if I do see my session crash, I'd rather it be towards the end. Okay, Payao, show up in TypeRacer and prove it. I'll be glad to be dethroned. I get enough attention as it is. Well, more than enough. But don't just say things like that if you're not going to prove it on video with me. Ryan, I'm absolutely sure there's somebody out there that doesn't compete that types more quickly than I do. I mean, I used to be that person before I discovered these sites out of nowhere, and everybody started inviting me to all the other ones. If you're hacking, then you're not faster than me. You're just a better programmer or more devious or whatever. Mechanical keyboards are a bit faster probably, but I find the difference is pretty negligible. Oh yeah, cocaine is totally faster than me over text of 5 seconds or less, but yeah, I couldn't name anybody who can do better over 15 minutes in English. I think Valentina Tavushkova, if that was her name, or was that the name of the... That was the name of the Soviet astronaut, duh. No, I'm combining them. Helena Matuskova was the female Czech typist who beat my intersteno score by quite a lot in Czech, which is amazing. But I can't name anybody faster on an endurance typing test in English. Sorry to Helena for mixing her up with an early Soviet astronaut. That's embarrassing. The car is wider, but that has nothing to do with the speed. I'm not interested in Dvorak, no. I could never attain my QWERTY speeds in it. There are so few Dvorak keyboards out there. It takes a lot of effort to reconfigure your keyboard. I'm not interested in bothering. My hands aren't in pain. I've read things Helena was written, and that doesn't read like the sort of things she's written on Facebook and elsewhere. But if you want to join us, whoever you are, Payao, go for it. Do whatever you think feels comfortable. If you think Dvorak feels comfortable and you're used to it, stay on Dvorak. Don't keep going back and forth, which will just stress you out. I didn't know I had a kid. Sean Jr., you should change your name to Sean 2, like Audrey 2 from Little Shop of Horrors. Actually, Audrey 2, that would be a better name in general. Aren't trolls so lovely? Come on, if you're faster than me, prove it. Don't just troll. I'd love to see somebody faster than me. I'd be excited. Good competition. Ryan, I am your father. Sure, most people could cheat and beat me, and I actually like competing against cheaters. It's good competition. I, I, I love it on the rare occasions I can beat somebody cheating. It's totally awesome. The problem with me versus Reckful is every time Reckful goes on TypeRacer, he streams. Jack Aviato told me that I shouldn't cross streams with Byron. Perhaps if Byron and I were racing at the same time, we're racing each other, that might increase the interest on both of our streams in general. That's possible, but we'd probably end up just taking viewers from each other because it's almost impossible to follow two streams at the same time. I have tremendous respect for Byron. He's a very nice guy. He donated money to me once, around the time I said I was quitting when I hit 10,000 races. Yes, I'm a lot faster than Byron is. He did beat me once, I think. I beat him every other time, but he was fun to race against because he was faster than the vast majority of people on this site. So, yeah, I'd welcome it, except that cross streams might not make sense. Reckful's fans, on the other hand, annoy me. They constantly go on videos where I am and go on about Reckful is faster because they look at him putting out himself do 180 words per minute on TypeRacer and then compare it to me doing 160 words per minute at the Ultimate Typing Championship. There's no valid comparison there at all, but people make those comparisons, and his fans are belligerent like that. He's a very nice guy himself, but his fans can be annoying. I never said I wasn't faster than Reckful. Byron agrees with me. Byron knows I'm much faster. We're mutual fans of each other. It's just Byron's fans who don't get it, some of them. I highly doubt I'm a better programmer than him. I think he has a lot more general knowledge than I do. If you program at 220 words per minute, I'm really impressed. You're like some movie character. Hey, I just think it's funny. At this point, the trolling is funny. Okay, I'm really behind on the comments, so I'm going to sit out the next couple of races to catch up. Yes, I do. I have been speaking while typing. It really doesn't distract me as much as you might think it does. I've typed in all sorts of awkward positions and situations before, so... I'm using the DOS Keyboard Professional Silent with brown cherry switches, apparently. I've dabbled in all sorts of programming languages. I've done stuff in Visual Basic, Java, C++, MATLAB, R, SPSS, SAS, SQL, PHP. That's most of it. A lot of the more famous and hipper things I haven't done much with. I don't have enough ports to have both a microphone and a camera connected in the back of my computer yet. I may buy a webcam that has a microphone capability. Not sure I can afford it right now, but I may do that for future streaming if I do a lot more streams. But I don't have enough ports to plug in my webcam, which doesn't have microphone capability, and my old microphone from 20 years ago, which is still working, as you can hear. I decided the microphone was more important. I also... I've gotten so much hate for my nerdy appearance and all that I do not want to have people making cracks about that. Like, on the typing videos, people call me a pedophile and stuff. The Ultimate Typing Championship videos, they call me a pedophile or a rapist or something, and it's just disgusting. That's how come I'm not being annoyed by Payao. Payao is just kidding around, having fun. I can see that. When somebody calls me a pedophile or a rapist, that's when it crosses the line. And people do that on the Ultimate Typing videos. Like, every few months or so, there's one of those comments and it gets 30 or 40 likes. It's disgusting. So, I'm taking Payao in stride. I think he's funny. I'm very slow at one-handed typing, but when I was talking about how I typed in strange positions, I knew that was going to come off as sexual, and I didn't mean it that way. Sometimes I've typed sitting on the floor with my arms leaning up at a 45-degree angle and typing. I've actually done that, and I haven't really been much slower. I'm just saying it doesn't take... It's very difficult to distract me when I'm typing. It's easy to distract me when I'm doing other things, but not when I'm typing. To highlight the words you misspell and delete them at once rather than pressing backspace multiple times. There are a number of ways you can do this. I hit left, shift, and home simultaneously. Shift, home, and then backspace. There are other ways you can do this. You can do Control A and backspace. You can do just Control backspace. All of these work, and they're always faster than just hitting backspace endlessly. And yes, if you learn how to do that, you will get way faster on TypeRacer. Although there are other sites that don't let you do this. HighGames.net doesn't let you do stuff like that. So it's probably more honest with regard to what your actual typing speed is than TypeRacer is. But yes, there are all sorts of tricks on TypeRacer that can raise your scores. I'm not even close to a millionaire. I'm pretty poor by American standards, certainly not by world standards. I acknowledge that, but I've been mostly unemployed for the past several years. I've had a variety of odd online jobs, but not really anything approaching a living wage, and I have not had much luck with interviews at all. I've applied for all sorts of things, including things well below my education level. But here's the problem. I have a master's degree, so for a traditional service type job, like if I wanted to go work at Walmart or something, I'd be too overqualified because of my master's degree. But for the kind of jobs that require master's degrees, they require a lot of experience, and I don't have that. And people don't take the experience that I do have seriously. Like racedatabase.com, I've entered 200,000 rows of data into an SQL database with almost the history of almost every major auto racing series in it, and nobody really cares. They just see it as me goofing around, just like my Scrabble is seen as goofing around, my typing is seen as goofing around. None of it really leads anywhere. I've been very, very frustrated and depressed, and that's why I've stopped typing largely, although I can get back into it if enough people want to watch. I've tried to apply for entry-level IT things, but I didn't have a computer science degree. I had an economics degree and an applied statistics degree, and although I've had a lot of experience in a lot of different programming languages, nobody cares unless you actually have a specific credential. I mean, in Silicon Valley, it may be more about what you can do than what credential you have, but in Syracuse, New York, it is definitely not. The beard and the glasses and my social ineptitude just prove that I'm a hardcore nerd, and everybody already knew that. Now, I don't see where people make the jump from nerd to pedophile. That's what I don't get. Accuracy and fast typing both matter. Basically, it's an endless loop. You improve your accuracy, then you improve your speed, then you improve your accuracy. Essentially, if you're getting complacent, if you feel like your accuracy is really good, then you want to try and speed up and type at your absolute limit, which is going to wreck your accuracy, but it is going to eventually increase your speed. Then when you think you've been focusing too much on speed and not enough on accuracy, then you go back and focus on accuracy. Then you focus on speed again over and over and over. I am in debt to Cornell 6 figures after my bachelor's and master's degree. I really expected something steady to come from that. I have no interest in going back to school per se because I am in so much debt and I cannot afford to be in more debt than this. That doesn't mean I'm not going to learn programming stuff on my own. I mean, people show me things like codecademy.com. I think they're great. I haven't looked at the stuff enough, but maybe Codecademy gives you real credentials that you can get mostly for free. If somebody would accept a Codecademy credential, that's really something to look at. But I don't know. If I already have something like racedatabase.com that's huge, that's accepted to be like the third best racing statistics site on the internet, racingreference.info is better, and ultimateracinghistory.com has more on it. But I think Race Database is better designed than Ultimate Racing History is. You'd think that would be a pretty big credential, but nobody seems to care. And I will keep streaming. I mean, I'm not going to do it daily unless I start making money at it like Reckful does, but am I getting more people watching? No, it's still about the same 20. Well, probably not the same 20. It's probably a different group of people each time, which is good. Good ideas, thanks. I mean, I love for the advice to go both ways on this. That's the sort of thing that is going to make me more inclined to stream more. And now I'm going to start joining the races again because I'm caught up with people's posts. Thank you, XTN. You've given me a lot of good advice. I can't afford to move to Portland. I do have some friends there. Carl Johnson, who's one of the best tournament Scrabble players in the U.S., top 25. I've beaten him a bunch of times because of the luck element in Scrabble. He was also interested in making money at poker. He eventually got a steady job, but he also had trouble because he's also nerdy and awkward and stuff, but that's probably more accepted in Portland than it is here. 70,000 dollars a year is a lot of money. But I mean, I do not know how to market myself at all, clearly. I mean, my fame, such as it is, happened pretty accidentally. I know that there are probably ways I can exploit my fame and make something out of it. I don't really know how to do that yet. No, I did not just fart. I don't know how long I'm going to stream. It's 10:04 on the East Coast right now, and I'm probably gonna wrap it up before midnight. My mom and I own a house in Syracuse, and I'm like too broke to go anywhere. Not that easy. I mean, I'm fine with what I've been doing at the moment, as long as I keep having these odd jobs. And as for XTN, I do not hit 230 words per minute often. Like, probably only once every 200 or 300 races. It's not going to happen, but I really do appreciate your offer. I have a donate button on my stream that goes to my PayPal account. I just didn't want to push it because I know it's considered tacky for people to just push their donate buttons on people. It's just kind of, it's tacky. I have it there in case anybody wants to use it, but you definitely don't have to. I mean, it's greatly appreciated if somebody did, but you definitely don't have to. I'm using the same donate software that Rectful is using that connects from, because I have a PayPal business account for racedatabase.com. I used to make some money from my ads on Race Database. I don't anymore, but I did get a PayPal business account out of it. So yes, that donate button does directly link to my PayPal, but don't donate unless you really want to. And I'm not hitting 230 tonight. I've read a little bit about e-trading and stuff, and yeah, I read Nate Silver's book, The Signal and the Noise, last year, and he had a chapter about people gambling on all sorts of things, like gambling on elections and who's going to win the Super Bowl and things like that. And apparently one of those sites was made illegal or something. I don't really remember most of what I read in that chapter. It might be something I have some skill at. I mean, I was an economics major, but I don't know a lot about the financial applications in the stock market and that sort of thing. I would have to research quite a bit, I think, before I would feel confident doing stuff like that. I'd want to have money before I invested it like that. 10 Fast Fingers is not my favorite site. It's not even remotely my least favorite site. I like it, but just typing a bunch of frequently used words in the English language, one right after the other, is kind of boring when it's the same 1,000 words over and over and over again. And it also removes the skill factor to a great degree because everybody knows how to type the words that people type over and over and over again. I mean, skill is obviously always going to matter in every typing game, but a site like that is a major equalizer because those are words that people type all the time, whereas thermodynamics of pizza quotes, those separate the real typists better, I think. And also, admittedly, it's a 1-minute text, which counteracts that a bit since most of the TypeRacer texts are shorter. I will go on 10 Fast Fingers lately, and I will go on 10 fast fingers lately, but I'm going to wait until I've hit 10,600 races on here. I am not interested in talking about politics on this stream. I mean, talking about my life and financial information is far further than I should have gone. Politics and religion, no. No, no, no. The last thing I want is to have Major League fights on here. I don't think type racing is ever going to become a serious esport, and I'm okay with that. I mean, as I think everybody knows at this point, and I've mentioned several times in the stream already, I'm a tournament Scrabble player also, and there are a lot of really delusional tournament Scrabble players who are trying to think of ways to make that mainstream popular, and it is more mainstream popular than competitive typing is. Nigel Richards, the world's best Scrabble player, wins $10,000 every year when he wins the U.S. National Scrabble Championship. He actually wins the Scrabble Championship in both of two different dictionaries regularly, and he can make almost a living wage at Scrabble. Nobody can do that at just typing. I'm not good at any games except typing games, and Scrabble I'm pretty good. I'm the second best player in Syracuse. Matthew O'Connor is a lot better than I am. And he's only 15 or something. As for the more standard games that people play on here, I have no experience with those things. I'd suck, and I don't think I'd get anybody watching me play the same games everybody else is playing better. But yeah, I do see your point that other games are more popular and stuff. There aren't typing championships on a regular basis, just Sean, and that's why I don't go to many. I mean, I was invited to one this year, and it was a complete fiasco. The Cincinnati Typing Challenge last summer was celebrating the 125th anniversary of the first typing contest in Cincinnati in 1888. And they were introducing a brand new keyboard that I just couldn't figure out. It was a QWERTY keyboard that was split, with the left-hand side of the keyboard on the top and the right-hand side of the keyboard on the bottom. And I just couldn't figure out how to adjust my keys for even that small a difference, to adjust my fingers for even that small a difference. And it didn't register keystrokes properly, and it was horrible, and I ended up dropping out of the finals. I couldn't figure out how to use the keyboard, and I couldn't manage to get a bus back in time to Cincinnati, and it was like, there aren't many of these typing championships. They're really hard to go to. Nobody wants to hold them. I don't know what the Microsoft ergonomic keyboard looks like, but this keyboard at the Cincinnati Typing Challenge had half on the top and half on the bottom, and it was QWERTY, but I couldn't figure it out, and I wasn't even able to hit like 20 words a minute on it, and it was kind of a computing exercise. And Robert Price, who is definitely a better programmer than I am, Robert Price is a TypeRacer veteran too. He is Zapach on here, Z-A-P-A-K-H. I've raced him on here many, many times. Robert lives in Cincinnati. He was able to go to the True Grip to the place where TrueGrip is manufactured several times and asked him some questions, and he was able to figure out how the keyboard worked. I wasn't, and that had a $5,000 first prize, which Robert won, and I'm fine with that. I like Robert; he's a nice guy. But yeah, that's the deal with typing contests. There really aren't many. That's the only one I've heard about since the 2010 one that I won. That was for money. I mean, there are all sorts of ones online, but they're pretty meaningless. I'd have had much more fun at the National Scrabble Championship that same week in Las Vegas. I couldn't have afforded to go to that, no way. I'm actually going to try to go to this year's, which is in Buffalo, which is as close as it's ever going to be in my life. But I would have had much more fun at the National Scrabble Championship, where I have like dozens of friends in the community, which was held the same week as the Cincy Typing Challenge. I was feeling really lonely in Cincinnati there by myself. Yes, XTN. Now you can see on my stream, this is the TrueGrip keyboard. This is what the competitors had to use in the Cincy Typing Challenge last year, and I was not able to figure it out. Robert Price amazingly managed to figure it out, managed to accustom his fingers to it, and the other problem is that it wasn't registering a lot of key presses for me. Robert figured out how to do that. I didn't. Robert ended up doing 100 words per minute on this, and I was very impressed by that. I mean, he's always been fast on TypeRacer too, but I was so much more impressed with what he did here. He deserved $5,000 for that. I showed up late, but it's possible I might not have won that even if I had shown up on time, because 183 is really good. That keyboard was the keyboard that people typed on in the finals in the Cincy Typing Challenge at the Cincinnati Museum Center. Cincinnati History Museum, that's where it was. I showed up to the semi-final round in Cincinnati. I took a Greyhound bus there for the semi-final round, or the qualifying round, I guess it was called. And I was easily the fastest typist there because it was on a traditional QWERTY keyboard. Robert Price was second, but then we were given that monstrosity that I just showed on screen to practice typing on for Thursday's final round. I went back to Syracuse and I was going to take another bus back. I had a sponsor who was paying for me to go to Cincinnati. He's a video game designer who is actually putting an image of me in a video game he is making on typing, which he has not released yet. And I ended up not being able to schedule a bus ride back in time because my sponsor was slow on getting back to me, but I would have lost anyway, so I'm happy that I didn't have that loss, that highly public loss on my record. I've raced FIDA before, I think years ago, and I think FIDA's legitimate. Wow, FIDA, you really kept me on my toes on that one. 195 might be one of the highest losing scores I have ever seen. Dvorak Typist, you had Barbara Blackburn. She's way more famous than I am. Because Barbara Blackburn had actually listed records. Every record I've sent is technically unofficial. Even though people have put some of my stuff up on Wikipedia, it's all going to get taken down because it's unverifiable and stuff. Technically unverifiable. It's not like I cheat or anything, but... XTN, I've tried to set official records. I've contacted the Guinness Book of World Records, and they're not interested in typing records anymore. They don't have any on the books, except fastest typing on a smartphone or something stupid like that, because smartphones are hip, while conventional computer keyboards are old-fashioned. Laziness, XTN. My mom and I share this computer, for one thing. I do not want to force her to learn how to use Linux or something like that. I've tried to install it on my laptop. I've tried to install Ubuntu Linux on my laptop multiple times, I think, but what happens is I haven't figured out how to properly mount it onto my computer, because it turns out that the Ubuntu installer is just bigger than a CD-ROM is, so I haven't figured out how to do that yet. But I am interested in Linux, and I am using Linux in some ways. Like, I'm hosting my website, Race Database, on a Linux server, but yes, I'm using Windows here, and it's largely just laziness. I'm sure I'd be more on my game if I was actually employed as a serious programmer. Oh, a flash drive. Why didn't I think of that? Yeah, I have some flash drives. I also agree with that, Ryan. I am turned off by snobbery. I mean, I'm not saying Linux isn't better. I'm sure it is, but I am turned off by the kind of people who, like, say you're a bad person if you're using the wrong operating system or like the wrong music or... I mean, it seems like anathema to what being a nerd is supposed to be. I hate smugness. I'm sure I'm going to use Linux eventually, but I do hate the smugness of some users. I'm not saying most users are like this at all. I'm not saying anyone in my chat is like this at all. That was bad. Drink what? Alcohol? No, I don't drink alcohol. What was that? Okay, what are you doing, Watt? Do I rage? I get angry sometimes, but rarely on TypeRacer. Oh no, you only get the special avatars if you're a premium member of TypeRacer, which costs $12 a year or something. I think I let mine expire, but I still have my icon for some reason. I mean, no, it's not something you get for being the fastest typist. I chose the Ferrari because I'm a racing fan. Fida chose a bus. Yeah, Alex is really working hard on trying to monetize TypeRacer. He hasn't been able to make a whole lot of money at this either, and has also been frustrated about that, I think. So he's trying to make money with these premium accounts, but I don't think that many people have done it for, because I don't think the site is that huge. You really have to have like maybe a top 50,000 site to be making money from it, I'd say. Yeah, I befriended Alex on Facebook quite a while ago, and I've had several interactions with him on the TypeRacer forums and blog posts, and he's friends with a lot of the elite typists on TypeRacer. That reminds me, speaking of those buses in Britain, I should probably change my icon to a bus on the anniversary of the Boston bus bombing from 2005. Boston bus bombing? London bus bombing from 2005. See, my brain shuts off when I'm racing sometimes. Fida is clearly legit. What's the one I'm wondering about? That sometimes throws me in private races. When somebody joins in the middle of the race, I can get distracted. Oh man, friends on Nitro Type, I accept literally everyone who requests, and I'm usually invited to race almost every single time I accept new requests. I'd say it's about 15,000, maybe 16,000. considering how many friends I have there, I think that, yeah, streaming Nitro Type on here could be huge. It just doesn't work well because it's crashed several times. Okay, last race, because I said after 10,600 I'd go to 10 fast fingers. I'll do that. I made some typo that minimized the chat window. Whoops. Yeah, it was that big jump. Okay. I'm sorry. I didn't look at your handle that you were SW Nemesis. Yeah. No, you don't cheat. Clearly. I didn't realize that you were still Ryan. I thought you were somebody who showed up later. Sorry. Muchos apologies. Yeah, I'm sorry, Ryan. You're totally legitimate, but that did seem very, very weird in that one race, and you kept changing your name, and I didn't realize that was still you. No, you're okay. I'm sorry. All right, starting a 10 fast fingers race now. How did I type over instead of often? Wow. But, I rarely go that long without making an error, so I don't think I can type, I don't think I can top that 201 words per minute very soon. It was already number 1 today, so I'm probably done there. Bad Boy Guru got a 200, whoever that is. Aw, they've given me an anti-cheat test to do. How did I not pass that? I don't even understand this. That still wasn't enough? That was only 165 words per minute? How is that even possible? That felt faster than that. So if I fail this, is that not even going to count? Okay, it finally accepted it. What should be on Reddit? I really don't know what I think about that site. I have very mixed emotions. I'll do one in the advanced mode, and then I'm going to go somewhere else. While I'm typing, please tell me what you want me to do next. Wow, this is really bad. I'm going to have to do another one. I think what I hate about the random words is the randomness. It's hard for it to remotely make sense, and you're more likely to screw up when you have a bunch of random words in a row that have nothing to do with each other. Yeah, that was bad, and I knew it was going to be bad. I am terrible at one-handed typing, and I don't even want to show myself doing that. I'm also not good at using the numeric keypad at all. I always use the numbers above the letters, and rarely use a numeric keypad. I only use a numeric keypad for, well, when I'm typing alt characters, like when you have the number lock on and you hold down the alt and you enter 248 on the numeric keypad, you get a degree sign, or alt 160, you get an A with an acute accent and stuff like that. I have most of those ASCII things memorized, but that's all I use the numeric keypad for. All that's particularly hard about this is that do it again. All that's particularly hard about this is that the capital words are in the middle and it makes no sense. You can miss when you have to hit a caps lock. I'm going to try to see if I can do it without making a mistake here. None of the words themselves are hard, but... Yes, I was a very strange child, considering, I was still in diapers when I was 3 and stuff, and I couldn't really read coherently, but I was able to type, and I was able to make these gigantic directory structures in DOS, and created and deleted directories endlessly, and used this touch typing program from the 80s, and yeah, I was 3, and I kept using this program until about, like I said, when I was 10, and I hit 100 words per minute, and I kind of stopped, but continued to improve without noticing. One more, and then I'm done here. Okay, that was an okay one, that's fine. More things to evaluate. Oh, because I haven't done an evaluation on the advanced typing test. And why would you have to type a capital S and nothing else? Okay, I unlocked everything there. Nah, that's just my generally morose nature. I don't find myself getting excited about much of anything anymore. I mean, I'm more into Scrabble than I am into typing, and I wasn't even all that excited to get a 605 Scrabble game against Matt Canick, who's a top 50 player, so he knows how to play defense and stuff. I mean, again, a lot of that has to come down to luck, whereas typing is more about skill, so... TypeOw is one of my least favorite sites, but I might go there. I think that would also crash the stream. I think Nitro Type is going to crash the stream, and if it does crash the stream, I am probably not going to restart, but I'll still talk to people. I'll still talk to people in the chat window, but if the stream does crash, I'm not going to restart. I think Nitro Type's going to crash it. If Nitro Type doesn't crash it, then maybe I'll go to type out, although I really don't like that site because it doesn't seem to register every keystroke. Maybe if the stream doesn't crash, I'll do a test like that. That could be funny. Yeah, Chelsea, I really think that's it. I'm like the 400-something best Scrabble player in the US. There are a lot of players who are better, much better, and it's easier to motivate myself and to go up for that, especially because on Scrabble, every game is different, whereas on typing sites, almost every game ends up being the same because TypeRacer only has 600 quotes, etc. Every time I go on, I add all my friends. $15,840. Surprised I haven't been invited by one yet.